Everyone thought he was the weakest new student, but he awakens the power of a legendary hero. Nemo was going to join this magical academy when his life takes a sharp turn as his village is attacked by monstrous creatures, and he discovers that he possesses the power of succession. He joins the academy and becomes part of the Seven Knights to fight against the monsters and save the world. The academy's president and the head of the Seven Knights is on a mission to save the villages that are under attack and search for new candidates to their academy. President Furia arrives at one of the towns but finds it deserted and in complete ruins. She regrets not being able to save the town or any of its inhabitants, and in a sorrowful voice, she sings a song as a form of condolences. Her assistant Ellen arrives and informs her that there are no survivors. They leave the town and take a train, hoping to at least save the next village. Her assistant spots another village through the window, which is on fire and chaos. They decide to head there to protect the villagers and hopefully find their new Grand Sea candidate. It is there that they find Nemo, who witnesses a terrifying scene. Flesh-eating monsters called Physis are ravaging his village, attacking and consuming people. He observes the monsters multiply by consuming the villagers. In a desperate bid to escape, he runs to the station and hides there, waiting for a train to escape from the village. But unfortunately for him, instead of the train, the monsters appear. He tries to run, but the Physis quickly surrounds him with no escape. Suddenly, a train arrives at the station, and just in the nick of time, Furia emerges. She unleashes a bolt of blue lightning and rushes into action, attacking the monsters. Just as Physis is about to attack Nemo, she pushes him aside, saving his life. She sends more lightning attacks, but soon realizes that her magic alone won't be sufficient to overcome these creatures. She harnesses her magical power of succession and transforms into her hero form called Knight Eunomia. With this newfound power, she attacks the monster with mighty blue thunders, saving Nemo once again from the Physis. She approaches him, and upon seeing his uniform, she questions if he is a freshman at Grand Sea Academy. He confirms that it is true, and she introduces herself, expressing how glad she is to have saved him, at least. She takes him with her, and they board the train and leave the village. Inside the train, she serves him coffee and snacks. She informs him that 5 other villages have been consumed by darkness because of the Physis. He asks her about her Grand Sea power, and she tells him about her hero Eunomia, who oppose the followers of the god of destruction, ultimately saving the world during the era of great darkness. She tells him that heroes were chosen by God to safeguard the world, and successors like them wield the powers of these heroic figures. She emphasizes that they, as students of Grand Sea, are duty-bound to protect the world from those who seek to spread evil. Their conversation is suddenly interrupted when a mutated version of the Physis attacks their train, causing the train to collapse. In the aftermath, Nemo finds an injured Furia and realizes that she had transformed into her hero form to save him. Despite her injuries, Furia gets up, ready to face the monster. She charges at the creature and counters its attack with her lightning, but it's clear that she is struggling and can't do much. Being the hero, she decides to sacrifice herself by creating a protective barrier and asks Nemo to take Ellen with him and escape. However, Nemo refuses to leave her alone, and suddenly his Grand Sea card glows, much to his surprise. He touches it and is transported to a mystical garden, where he hears the voice of a goddess named Ceres. The goddess asks him for a wish, and Nemo earnestly expresses his desire for the power to protect Furia, even pledging his life for her sake. The goddess grants his wish, and his card glows purple again. Suddenly, a mysterious figure appears before him, acknowledging the shared radiance within Nemo's soul before vanishing. Nemo gains the powers of succession, and that mysterious person is his hero. Nemo is transported back to the scene, and he sees Physis breaking open Furia's barrier. With newfound determination and power, he rescues her by transforming his hand into a magical sword. She is shocked when she sees this, and her hero, Eunomia, materializes before her, urging her to place her trust in Nemo. He continues to attack the monster with his magical hand sword, and the monster multiplies in number. With great determination, he eliminates the monsters, while Furia stands there watching him in awe. He takes her weapon that the monster had thrown earlier and gives it to her. Together, they battle the monsters fiercely. He traps the monster by turning his hand into a chain and holds it in place, giving Furia the perfect opportunity to use her ultimate lightning attack and finish the monster. The next day, she takes him to Grand Sea Academy, accompanied by Ellen, who leaves upon arrival to take care of some paperwork. Nemo asks about it, and Furia explains that the documents are for the broken train, which immediately makes him feel guilty. However, she tells him sternly that his life is more important than the train. Just then, a guy named Ju comes running, pulling a huge cart. She asks him about the cart's contents, and Ju explains that it holds a dragon of the Physis that he defeated. Nemo seems lost, so Furia introduces Ju to him as the successor of the Burning Ice hero, who proudly declares that he is the strongest among the 7 knights. Later, she calls a meeting with the student council to introduce Nemo to them. She surprises the members by announcing that he is the new member of the 7 knights. His entry into their ranks is met with skepticism, and the other members of the 7 knights voice their concerns. However, Furia stands by his side, recounting how he made contact with a hero that saved her life. She tells them that Eunomia told her to trust him. They are intrigued by Nemo's incredible powers, which seem to have manifested without any formal training, and agree to let him join the 7 knights. Furia suggests that Ju take Nemo under his wing and give him a tour of the academy. They begin, and Ju shows him the statue of a former Seven Knight, explaining that they inherit their powers from these heroes and that they should use their power to save people from Physis. Nemo becomes sad and asks who they will protect if they sacrifice their lives. Before things become too philosophical and depressing, a girl interrupts them. She introduces herself as Sophitia, the librarian, and enlightens Nemo about the Academy's rich history. She tells him that the library houses the memories of past heroes and that students form contracts with hero cards after rigorous training. She explains that his circumstances of encountering powers by fate make him an exception. Sophitia then turns to Ju and praises him for his remarkable feat of defeating a dragon and leaves. After that, Ju takes him to the cafeteria and various other places. When the day comes to an end, he shows Nemo his dormitory and leaves. An unexpected surprise awaits Nemo when he opens the door and finds Furia. She tells him that he is in the president's dormitory and will be staying with her and Ellen. Nemo is deeply moved and honored by her offer. The next day, Nemo starts his classes at the academy. In one of the classes, he learns about the history of the Seven Knights and how they fought against the evil god Nestra, protecting this world. After the class, he meets one of the current Seven Knight members, an elf named Gareth, who hands him a potion and asks him to deliver it to the alchemy lab. Nemo accepts the potion and heads off to complete the task like an obedient dog. He hands over the potion to one of the alchemy girl's students, who tell him that it is an elixir of the elves. Ju then arrives and mocks him for being the errand boy, but suddenly they hear a noise from above, and they go outside to investigate. They discover that the dragon Ju defeated has broken free from its icy confines and is about to attack Sophitia. Ju immediately jumps into action, determined to defeat the dragon once more. He uses his succession and transforms into his hero form and attacks the dragon. Nemo is tasked with taking Sophitia and the rest to a safe place while Ju continues to battle the dragon. He uses his blade of ice and charges at the dragon, cutting it in half, but to his astonishment, the dragon survives and mutates to become a two-headed dragon. His hero form appears and tells him that the dragon's transformation is because of the Physis, and that it is much stronger than before. The dragon starts attacking Ju with powerful beams, and he barely manages to dodge them. Just then, Nemo arrives and joins him. Ju tells him to go call the president while he tries to stall the dragon until she arrives. However, Nemo's loyalty and sense of duty compel him to stay with Ju in the fight. He takes a knife from the scene and uses his succession as well. He traps the dragon with his chain and hits it with a knife, asking Ju to freeze the monster now. Ju hits the dragon with his blade where Nemo struck before and uses his ice heart attack to freeze the dragon. But his attack starts to freeze Nemo as well, and he asks him to retreat, but Nemo refuses, saying that if he leaves now, then Ju can't freeze the dragon fully. Nemo's hero materializes before him and tells him that the dragon, despite being dead, continues to move without life because of Physis, and asks him to put an end to the dragon. Ju's own hero materializes before him and points out the core of the dragon, which is regenerating its body. He then uses this information to strike its core and put an end to the monster. After their victory, he opens up to Nemo about his past and reveals that his father, a former successor, sacrificed his life to protect his town's people. He tells Nemo that now he desires to become stronger than his father and carry on his legacy, so that he can protect others as well. He appreciates Nemo for his help and offers his friendship, which Nemo happily accepts. The next day, Furia holds a seven-night meeting and raises the issue that many creatures are becoming distorted because of the increasing power of Physis. Gareth theorizes that the remnants of the Physis that perished have remobilized and started large-scale attacks. Furia informs them that they have funds from many countries, so it's up to them to stop the Physis and save the world. After the meeting, she warmly invites everyone to join her for a meal she's prepared. Nemo becomes excited, eager to try her food. However, the rest seem to hesitate. Ju remarks that this particular dish is the only one known to the president, which creates a somber mood among the group. Thankfully, Nemo eagerly indulges in the meal, clearly enjoying it. Everyone is surprised to see him eating like a pig, and seeing his enthusiasm, Furia brings out even more of the same food. After the meal, everyone except her leaves and discusses Nemo's appetite, making him embarrassed. Gareth praises him for fighting alongside Ju and defeating the dragon. They continue to chat for some more time, and Nemo feels glad to be part of the group. Later, he meets Sophitia, who informs him that he is the hot topic among the teachers and expresses her optimism about his potential. Later in his sleep, Nemo dreams that he and his hero are trapped within a building on fire. But before he can ask his hero about this vision, he abruptly wakes up from a knocking on his bedroom door. He opens the door and finds Furia outside, who informs him that they have to leave for a mission. The Seven Knights board an airship to rescue the other towns and cities that are engulfed by the darkness of Physis. Ellen informs the team that when the army can't handle it, they request Grand Seed Academy for reinforcement. The town they are going to is in ruin and chaos because of the Physis, and the townspeople are injured and dead. Arriving in a town, the Seven Knights immediately get to work by using their succession and transforming into heroes to start eliminating the Physis. Furia saves a villager from the Physis and eliminates it. She asks Ellen to evacuate the townspeople to a safe place, while the rest of the Seven Knights battle their monstrous foes. Gareth uses his Sword of Darkness to eliminate a group of Physis. Shirley attacks the Physis with multiple swords. When that doesn't seem to do the trick, she uses an attack called the Flame of Dance, creating a tornado of purple flames to eliminate the Physis. Gildan valiantly takes on the rest of the Physis, but his hero informs him that his magical power is decreasing. Nevertheless, Gildan continues to attack the monsters and manages to chop off one of its heads. However, the monster sends him flying with its tentacles. He falls to the ground near Ju and Nemo. They ask him to rest while they prepare to face the Physis. Nemo traps it with his chains, and Ju takes the opportunity to land a powerful ice attack on it. The 7 knights successfully eliminate the Physis and save the townspeople. After the intense battle, Sophia tends to Gildan's wounds, who then runs off into the forest to practice. Later, Ju and Nemo have a talk about the day's events, and Ju tells him that he is feeling guilty about treating Gildan as a burden back in the fight. He reveals to Nemo that Gildan is the prince of a kingdom, and that many people have high hopes for him. Meanwhile, Faria gives her report on the day's battle to the council member, and one of them informs her that Physis has been shattering the silver hourglass and entrusts her with the responsibility of keeping an eye on Nemo. After that meeting, she and Ellen chat about her never-ending duty when Shirley comes running to them with urgent news about Gildan. Meanwhile, Ju and Nemo, having heard a loud noise, arrive to find Gareth fighting a monster, but they quickly learn that it is, in fact, Gildan who has been possessed after using his magic beyond its limits. Ju prepares to put an end to this situation by slaying Gildan, but Nemo intervenes. Gildan strikes Nemo, prompting Gareth to attack Gildan to save him. Ju tells them that he has no other choice but to end Gildan as he is his friend. But Nemo stops him, saying that he has an idea which triggers a surge of memories within Gildan. He tries to escape his darkness but can't and continues to attack his friends. Nemo traps him with his chain and asks him not to give up. Ju uses his blade of ice to momentarily immobilize him so that they could pull Gildan out of the darkness. However, Gildan breaks free from the ice and pleads with them to end his life before he is fully consumed by the darkness. Nemo tells him that they can't because he's their friend and reminds him of his words to laugh when things get tough. Drawing strength from Nemo's unwavering support, he resolves to fight against the darkness. With their combined effort, the knights manage to pull him away from the clutches of the monster and save him. Gildan then expresses his heartfelt gratitude to Nemo, and the two lie on the ground in exhaustion. Ju apologizes to Gildan for unintentionally insulting him earlier in the battle with Physis, and he tells him that it's fine. The next day, Nemo wakes up to find Faria tending to his wounds, but she accidentally falls on him, causing her to blush. She informs him that he slept for a long time after using so much of his magic trying to save Gildan. He asks her about Gildan's condition, and she informs him that he is fine now and actually woke up much earlier than him. Faria scolds him for not taking care of himself, and when he tries to get up from the bed, she pushes him back and declares that she is going to watch over him in his room until he recovers. Meanwhile, Ju takes care of Gildan, who complains about the place being lifeless due to the lack of girls. He playfully tells them that he's envious of Nemo for getting the president to take care of him, but Gareth interrupts him and questions if he can remember what happened during his possession. He sadly tells them that he doesn't remember much, to which Gareth tells them that although possession is common, it's rare for it to happen to someone like Gildan. He expresses his suspicion that something external might have caused this. They discuss the possibility of there being a Physis in disguise inside the academy, as the dragon that Ju brought had suspiciously come to life once more. Suddenly, they hear Faria shouting. It turns out she's having trouble cooking, like most Americans, and Nemo becomes concerned seeing her visibly panic. Thinking herself to be a firefighter, she throws a huge bucket of water on the stove and asks him to go back to sleep. After her intense battle with the stove, she hands him what appears to be the only dish that she could make and apologizes to him for her terrible cooking. He consoles her and tells her he likes this dish to make her happy. Just then, a cute cat appears and starts rubbing against Faria's leg, and she shyly reveals that it's her pet. Nemo tries to pet the cat, but hisses at him and runs away. After this, she takes her nursing duty more seriously and does all kinds of chores to help him. But in the end, she becomes exhausted and lies down. Unfortunately for her, Ellen arrives and reminds her that she has work to do. She then proceeds to leave, warning him to take rest, but she herself nearly collapses because of exhaustion. After she leaves, Nemo asks Ellen why the president is helping him when she is busy, but Ellen simply tells him that it's her character. He continues to question about Faria, and she tells him that Faria has always been like this, wanting to protect everyone with the hero powers. Ellen then informs him that he is special to Faria because he is the only survivor from his town, and the president regrets not being able to save the whole town. Later, Faria and the boys visit Nemo. He questions Gildan if he has recovered, and he tells him that he's alright. Gildan then proceeds to make fun of him, calling him Faria's pet, and she slaps Nemo's mouth in embarrassment to shut him up. Gareth then hands Nemo a stinky paste, calling it an elven healing medicine. They continue to chat some more and play cards to pass the time. Gildan loses 3 times in a row, becoming the joker of the group. He playfully comments that he should ask for his hero's help next time, which makes Nemo suddenly sad as he is unable to communicate with his hero. They are astonished to hear this, and Ju suggests that he seeks guidance from Sophia, the librarian. Suddenly, Shirley arrives and scolds them for relaxing when there are more important tasks to be done. She voices her disappointment that even Furia would engage with them and leaves the room in annoyance. She then eavesdrops on them from outside and learns about Nemo's struggle to communicate with his hero. Later, Nemo and Furia take a walk in the hallway when her cat wanders up to them. She tries to catch it, but it runs away, and she confesses to him that pets are not allowed in this dormitory. So they run behind the cat in the hopes of catching it, but the cat leads them to Shirley, and they pretend to do lame exercises to escape from her. They continue their chase with the cat, which leads them into even more trouble. The cat then gets stuck on a roof, and they go to the rooftop to save it. But the roof breaks, and the cat starts to fall down. In a daring attempt to save the cat, Nemo leaps from the terrace and hurls the cat to Furia, but she ignores the cat and tries to save him instead. As they hang precariously, he urges her to let go and save herself. She, however, refuses to leave his side. Ultimately, they both fall, but Nemo's hero intervenes, ensuring their safety. Having seen Nemo try to sacrifice himself to save the cat approaches him and starts rubbing against him affectionately. The cat becomes his new companion and sleeps with him at night. Furia has a conversation with her hero, who foretells her about a future danger and tells her that only the present 7 knights can collectively protect the people. The next day, following Ju's advice, Nemo visits the library and confides in Successor, expressing his desire to learn more about his hero's identity and abilities. Both of them embark on a thorough search for information about Nemo's hero within the library's vast collection of records. Unfortunately, their efforts yield no results, and she tells him that there is no record of any hero matching the description he gave. He becomes discouraged upon hearing this, but she assures him that she will continue to investigate on his behalf. As Nemo leaves the library, he encounters a girl with pink hair who inquires about him, and Successor tells her that he is the new member of the 7 Knights. Meanwhile, Furia and Nemo goes to the hospital, where Shirley shows them a student from the disciplinary committee who became the 4th victim of the Physis attack inside the academy. Though Ellen successfully treats the victim, she reveals a bite mark on his neck to President Furia, who tells that this could be a vampire attack. Determined, Shirley tells her that she will take responsibility for catching the criminal and proceeds to steps out to handle the matter. But a girl called Mina stops her, saying that she is overworking herself, and Furia agrees with her. Nemo volunteers to help her, and Furia permits him to assist her. The girl Mina later approaches him and thanks for agreeing to help the disciplinary committee, as there are only a few members left, and leaves. In the evening, Nemo meets up with Shirley and they begin investigating the incident. She asks him if he is hiding something, and he asks her why she thinks so. She explains her suspicion that he may not be as innocent as not knowing about the 7 Knights before joining the academy, and tells him that she doesn't care about his secret as long as he works hard for everyone. She leaves the investigating to him, and upon Ju's suggestion, he goes to a girl to request readings on vampires. But she informs him that vampires are not monster, and that they are common, just like elves and humans. The girl takes out a book on vampire and tells that they can turn another person to a vampire by giving their blood and can also reproduce by giving birth. She hands over the book to him before telling that flame is the vampire's weakness. Mina joins him, and together they go for a walk. She tells him about a rumor that Shirley might be a vampire, and tells him that all the members have collapsed after working with her. She then starts to cry, saying that this rumor is heartbreaking to Shirley, who is working non-stop to catch the criminal. She then asks him to go with her to the forest, saying that she would like to investigate from there. In the forest, she sprains her leg, and he tells her that they should probably bring lights, but she quickly refuses, saying that it might alert the criminal. They go ahead and suddenly witness the truth. The rumors seem to be true, and Shirley appears to be a vampire who was just about to drink Ellen's blood, but Mina accidentally steps on a branch, alerting her to their presence, and she runs away. Nemo uses his succession and proceeds to run after her, saying that he believes she is innocent. He confronts her and asks if she is a vampire, and she confesses that she is, but when he asks her if she is behind the attack, she uses her succession and turns to her hero form. She tells him to go out of her way or she will end him. He doesn't move, so she starts attacking him and asks why he isn't fighting back. He tells her that he doesn't wish to fight her, and she tells him that it's too late. She reveals about how vampires were mistreated for a long time and how her father was eliminated for simply being a vampire. She tells him that wherever she goes, she was always targeted and pursued. She expressed how glad she was to find peace at this academy, but then that came to an end as well because of the rumors surrounding her. He tells her that not everyone is going to hate her for being a vampire, and points out that Ellen was trying to help her earlier. He offers to keep her secret safe with him as he doesn't want others to trouble her, and she thanks him. Then they go to a rooftop where they witness Ellen's capture by the Physis. They start following the monsters, and their trail ultimately leads to Mina, who emerges as the mastermind behind all these events. It becomes clear that Mina is also a vampire, who is responsible for the deaths of numerous committee members, all as part of a scheme to corner Shirley, and now she is holding Ellen as well. With a snap of her finger, she brings the Physis to attack Nemo, and Shirley helps him defeat it. Mina reveals that she is working for the Physis and presents a proposition to Shirley, urging her to embrace a new world dominated by darkness, a realm where vampires can thrive in harmony. But Shirley adamantly refuses to be part of this evil scheme, declaring her allegiance to her friends and allies. Mina then, with her remarkable speed, launches an attack on Shirley and throws Nemo to the ground. She stomps on him and continues to spout her evil nonsense. However, as she was about to leave, he tries to catch her with his chain, but she sends him flying to the wall. They engage in an intense battle, and he manages to chop off her hand. Unfazed, she replaces her severed hand with a monstrous appendage, launching further assaults against him. In a daring move, Shirley surrounds her with a ring of fire, which forces Minna to jump and shriek in terror. Minna warns them that with the power of Physis she can heal, thus she is not afraid of Shirley's fire anymore. Encouraged by his hero's guidance, Nemo taps into his true power and asks Shirley to trap her within the ring of fire. Minna launches into a series of attacks on him, but Shirley comes to his rescue and manages to capture Minna within her blazing inferno. Minna warns her that she would be burned as well, but Shirley's hero materializes before her and assures her. As Minna struggles against the engulfing flames, Nemo seizes the opportunity to strike her by turning his hand to a gun and delivers a decisive shot that ultimately ends Minna's threat once and for all. The next day, after finding the truth about Minna and searching her room, Gareth finds out that she was investigating the coast of the old library ruins. He delves into his research alongside Sophia, who discloses a crucial piece of information. The former librarian of the old library called Genius had joined Physis and was ultimately slain by Eunomia. She reveals that there are rumors that Genius left behind a curse before his death, which still affects the Academy's reputation. He leaves the library and a girl called Claire from the alchemy class brings him some materials on the old library, which he had requested from her earlier. He thanks her for her help and leaves before she could say anything else. After some days, Nemo and Feria engage in a discussion about the upcoming school festival. She tries to open a door, but it's locked, and suddenly Claire joins them and opens the door with her powers of alchemy. Later, they have coffee together, and Claire starts talking about her feelings for Gareth. When Faria questions her further, she becomes embarrassed and reveals that Gareth had once saved her from the Physis, which made her fall for him. They continue to discuss love, and Claire sadly tells them that she wanted to invite Gareth to the partner dance at the upcoming festival, but reveals that she is afraid he will reject her. They encourage her, saying that she may not get this chance the next time, and she agrees, saying that she is going to ask Gareth for the dance. She then inquires of Feria if she has selected a dance partner for the festival, and her gaze momentarily falls on Nemo before she turns away, prompting Claire to interpret this as a sign that he might be Feria's choice. After this conversation, he goes to Ju and asks about his dance partner, but Gildan suddenly reveals that Ju has feelings for Sophia and starts teasing him. Gildan then proudly reveals his numerous proposals from girls and says that choosing one might be difficult. He then asks Nemo how things are going between him and Feria, but Nemo, with the IQ of fish, doesn't understand what they are implying. Just then, Shirley joins them and asks Nemo to be her dance partner, much to Gildan and Ju's surprise. They ask him what's happening between him and Shirley. He thinks back to the times that he had offered himself as juicy meat for her to drink from and says that it's a secret. Later, Feria holds a meeting for the 7 Knights members and they brainstorm ideas for the school festival's programs that they will be hosting. Gildan comes up with a ridiculous idea to arrange a bar and girls, but Shirley rejects the idea as the member of the disciplinary committee. Ju suggests a tournament, which triggers Gareth, and he proceeds to leave, saying that they are acting carefree when they haven't gathered a clue against the Physis. Shirley, however, tells him this is just relaxation, but he disagrees with her and leaves. Outside, Claire approaches him, expressing her desire to help him with his research on the old library. Gareth is uncertain and tells her that he can't offer anything in return, but she persists and proposes a deal. She offers her help in exchange for Gareth becoming her dance partner, to which he agrees. The festival kicks off with many stalls offering various items for sale and a puppet show depicting the burning and the curse of the old library. Everyone seems to be having fun except for Ju, who is miserable that there is no tournament like he wanted. Instead, he is made to work in the cafe. Gildan asks him to quit complaining and serves the students with cakes and other treats. Gareth is made to be the waiter, and Shirley is made to cook. She comes out from the kitchen and asks for help. Feria was about to offer her assistance, but Ju interrupts and volunteers instead. Nemo is glad that everyone is happy and there's no fighting. However, he soon becomes the center of attention as both Feria and Shirley vie to be his dance partner. He asks if he can have them both, but they firmly tell him that he can't and asks him to pick one of them. Just then, to his luck, Gildan tells him that Sophia is asking for his help. Nemo takes this opportunity to make his exit from this awkward situation. He meets up with Sophia and she inquires about the festivities. He tells her that it's going well and confides in her. In a heart-to-heart conversation, they discuss in great detail the intricate nature of love, and she tells him that there are different ways people express their feelings. She offers him her wisdom, and he wonders about choosing between Shirley and Feria. After this, he joins the rest of the boys in the festival, and they start teasing him for getting an offer from the president as well. Later, he goes to meet Shirley and asks if the one she wants to invite to the dance is actually Ellen, and she admits that she used him to provoke Ellen due to her reluctance to voice her desires. She offers a genuine apology. Nemo encourages her to approach Ellen instead and ask her for the dance. Meanwhile, Claire ventures to the ruins of the old library in the hopes of finding a clue to help Gareth's investigation so that he would become her dance partner. She suddenly falls and makes a startling discovery. The room she has fallen into seems old and in ruins, with books scattered everywhere. She discovers a door that she opens using her alchemy powers and goes in. At the festival, Nemo joins Shirley on a balcony and shares his perspective on love with her, emphasizing that expressions of affection vary among individuals. This gives her the confidence she needs to ask Ellen to be her dance partner. At the dance, everyone is happily dancing and enjoying themselves. Nemo awkwardly dances with Faria and Shirley dances with Ellen. Ju is miserable for not having a partner and Gildan happily dances alone. Gareth patiently waits for Claire, hoping she would return soon. But she's under the old library after discovering the secret room by accident. She examines the room and sees a huge book glowing on top of a table. She carefully approaches the table and wonders if the book is sealing something inside. She touches the book and lets out a shriek. Meanwhile, at the festival, Gareth continues to wait for her and wonders if Claire is not coming. Just then, to his surprise, she arrives at the dance and he asks her with concern where she was, but she tells him that she isn't sure and apologizes for not finding any clues to lead his investigation. He tells her that it's alright and asks her for a dance, and they happily dance together. She tells him that she is glad to finally be with him and was about to say something about the old library when suddenly he notices Claire's neck turning purple, and she undergoes a startling transformation, turning into a violet crystal and breaks, much to Gareth's horror, and he cries out in alarm. The next day, everyone is at Claire's funeral mourning her loss, which brings a somber atmosphere to the academy. Some boys start gossiping about her death, saying that it is because of the old library's curse, and speculate if Gareth's absence has something to do with this. Shirley gives them her death stare, which shuts them up pretty quickly. Everyone offers their condolences and remains silent. Nemo notices Gareth standing alone behind a tree and approaches him. Gareth confesses to feeling guilty for manipulating Claire's affection to his advantage and making her search the old library for him. He vows to go after a killer, saying that it's the least he can do for her and leaves. Later, Faria and Ellen meet with a board committee member, who tells them about the escalating threat from the Burbat volcano. Faria recalls that her hero Eunomia had a showdown with the Physis in that place. A short guide tells them that they have found a large-scale underground facility there. They show a map marking places where the monsters have attacked so far. All these places send magical powers to the volcano, but the monsters have attacked the Silver Hardglass. They warn Faria that the Grand Seed Academy has to quickly overcome the threat of Physis before it uses the power of the Silver Hardglass to fulfill its evil ambitions. The head of the committee informs her that the leader of the Physis is inside the underground facility. Faria hesitates and tells them that it may not be the best idea to go all out and attack the Physis unprepared. They continue to tell her that they have no choice and recount the recent tragedies happening to the Seven Knights members and tell her that their enemy is inside the academy. She agrees and accepts the mission. After the meeting, she discusses with Ellen on what to do next, who suggests a strategy secretly in her ears. Meanwhile, Gildan meets with the rest of the Seven Knights and reveals that they are going for an all-out attack on the Physis. Nemo tells them that since Gareth is not with them now, they have to work even harder. Gildan asks him about the volcano since it was near his village. He hesitates and then tells them that his people used to call it a mountain. Later, he visits Claire's burial and Sophia joins as well. She asks what's bothering him and he expresses his remorse despite not knowing Claire well. Sophia explains that his connection with his hero stems from his empathy and desire to save everyone, and tells him that she has faith in him. She urges him to fulfill his destiny as a successor and explains the Academy's mission to end suffering. At the Academy, Eunomia confides in Faria that she will reveal the truth of the old library after the battle. Meanwhile, Gareth discovers a book that says that Eunomia had killed Genius and confirms that it's his curse, which had indirectly caused Claire's demise, making him angry. The next day, Nemo wakes up to hear Faria singing sadly and goes to talk with her. He asks her about the song, which she always seems to be singing, and she reveals that Eunomia used to sing this. She becomes sad, saying that the Physis should have been gone years ago, and starts to talk about her childhood. She tells him the expectations everyone had on her to protect the people, and her parents never asked for her wish, but only trained her to become a hero. After their heartfelt conversation, they leave with the rest of the Seven Knights to the volcano on an airship to defeat the Physis. They arrive at the volcano and send out a signal. Ju and Gildan lead the other students of Grand Seed Academy to initiate an assault on the underground facility. Shirley breaks into a room and starts attacking the monsters vigorously. Faria and Nemo join her as well, fighting the monsters. When one is about to attack Faria, Nemo saves her. They form a strategy. Nemo will take care of the monsters from behind, while the girls combine their strength and go ahead, eliminating the monsters. They enter a room within the facility where they encounter various artificial life forms crafted by alchemists. Inside, they find a broken capsule and are confronted by three individuals claiming to be the successors of God Nestra, who is the god of destruction. Nemo tells Faria and Shirley that these guys are not any ordinary successors, and suddenly their enemies start attacking them. The one in the red dress calls herself Rita and fights with Faria. The guy in the black dress calls himself Volux, who specializes in black magic and battles with Shirley. The other guy, called Castris, battles with Nemo. Meanwhile, Ju and the rest are fighting the Physis outside. Rita sends a powerful attack on Faria, causing her to fall to the ground. Nemo fiercely attacks his opponent and then disappears. He appears before Rita and attacks her to save Faria. Together, they fight Rita, but still she proves to be very powerful. The battle goes on, and they manage to injure her, but the guy Castrus appears and charges at Nemo angrily. Rita and the guy argue, prompting him to attack her as well, but Nemo intervenes and saves her, to her surprise. Struggling under Castrus' attack, he declares that he doesn't want them to die, but just wants to protect this world. Meanwhile, a guy with a mustache observes their battle through a mirror and remarks that everything is happening according to the Oracle's predictions. The battle rages on, and the Grand Seed students are fighting their enemy. Suddenly, the Successors of Destruction become even more powerful, and Rita declares that the 7 Knights are no match for them. At the academy, Gareth goes to the old library where Claire had gone and soon finds the secret room that she had discovered. He goes in to find that it's the altar belonging to Physis and prepares for an attack. Meanwhile, Volux approaches Nemo and the girls, sending them flying with his powers. Faria is surprised that these guys can enter the state of possession without going crazy and losing consciousness. Shirley notices that the Dark Successors have trapped their heroes in a chain, and Castrus reveals that they can control their heroes and use them as tools. Faria argues that what they are doing is wrong, but Volux finds her righteousness funny and calls her stupid. He then uses his staff and sends out a powerful dark orb at them that throws Faria and Shirley to the ground. Nemo is surprised and tries to help the girls. He deflects Volux attacks, when Castrus jumps from above and attacks him, calling Nemo a weakling. At the old library, Gareth is surrounded by the monsters of destruction and wonders if finding about the Physis base is what led to Claire's death. He gets irritated and proceeds to attack the Physis. He shoves his sword inside one of it as it transforms to his powerful hero sword. He then starts chopping away Physis like leftover veggies and declares that he is going to avenge poor Claire's death. Outside, the students of the Grand Seed Academy are struggling to hold off the Physis, and many gets crushed to death. Gildan, with determination, fights off a few of the Physis, saving students along the way. He wonders if this power of the Physis is what his hero warned him about. Ju continues to be the Superman fighting of the ugly creature with incredible powers. He wonders if they can really win against these creatures, and Gildan tells him that they have no other choice if they wanted to protect the silver hourglass and save cities that are under attack. They look out at the volcano, wondering if Nemo and the girls are safe. As everyone is busy doing their thing, the creepy old mustache uncle observes the 7 Knights through a mirror, remarking that everything is going according to the prophecy. He then looks up the ceiling and like an idiot talks to himself, saying that his plans are going to be accomplished. The greedy old man then looks into the mirror again, asking it to reveal the true son of destruction. Meanwhile, Nemo is getting his teensy ass kicked by the enemy, but he doesn't lose hope and gets up ready for round 2. Volux makes fun of him, calling him and his gang pathetic against them. As he is busy with his villain monologue, Rita tells him to watch out as the battle has not yet been over, and just as she said, the ceiling collapses and Nemo starts attacking Volux. Castrus calls him stupid for not being careful and knocks him down. The girls jump into action and proceed to face against him. He dodges their attack with difficulty and curses them, while Volux gets up from the ground and approaches him angrily. He then starts to go crazy and uses his dark magic to create a dangerous orb that shoots out spikes at everyone. The girls manage to dodge the spikes, but one of the spikes hits Castrus, and he in turn becomes furious at Volux. Nemo and the girls realize that their enemies are not united, which will give them a fighting chance against their enemies. Outside, Gildan tells everyone to not fight alone, but as a team, and continues attacking the Physis. Ju joins him, and together they finish off a giant Physis, with Ju freezing it and Gildan landing the final blow. Meanwhile, Castrus tries to attack Shirley, but she dodges. Seeing this, Volux asks Rita for help, but she ignores him and refuses to participate. He gets mad at her and was about to say something when suddenly his chest starts to feel tight and he collapses on the ground. Castrus and Rita experience the same thing, making them wonder why they are losing control of their possession. Suddenly, the heroes, chained by them, break free, and Faria guesses that the heroes' power was held against their will to manage their possession. They all turn to red from uncontrollable pain and fall to the ground one by one. Nemo tells them that their heroes are resisting against them from being used as tools. Volux continues to suffer and curses that the heroes were meant to be used as only tools and should not disobey them. Nemo gets emotional and tells them to shut up and listen to their heroes' voices, causing Rita to look at him in surprise. He goes on to say that they shouldn't be afraid and open up their heart. Castrus tells her to not listen to the dumb Nemo and tells that they are the chosen ones of the god of destruction and should be listening to Nemo and his gang. As he approaches to attack Nemo, Shirley quickly comes in between and protects him before throwing a kick at Castrus. She attacks him again, and he calls her out as a vampire. She remains unhinged and continues to attack him, saying that she's going to protect her friends. She then sends out her phoenix attack from her sword, and he starts to burn before getting completely destroyed to pieces. Faria questions Shirley on what he meant by her not being an ordinary human, but she tells her that they can have this talk later and points out to Rita, saying that they have to take care of her now. Shirley asks her what she will do, since she's the only one in the enemy who hasn't gone crazy. Meanwhile, at the old library, Gareth fights the Physis. He dodges its attacks and is taken by shock when someone attacks it. He turns back to see Sufficia as the one who helped him. She tells him that they have to fight this place together, and he agrees with her. At the battle, Shirley tells Rita that they are going to attack her, but Nemo steps in and tells Shirley and Faria to head to the temple. Shirley questions if this is a wise decision, but he tells her not to worry and just listen to him. Faria agrees with him, saying that their main focus should be stopping the physicist plan as soon as they can. He thanks her and warns him to be careful before heading to the temple. He then turns to Rita and tells her that she is like his sibling, causing her to be surprised. She then demands if he is the chosen one like her, then why he betrayed them and joined the 7 Knights. As they continue talking, the glass container shatters and she starts attacking him. He tells her that he just wanted to lead his own life and tries to convince her to do the same. Meanwhile, Shirley and Faria are rushing to the temple to find Amos and stop his evil plan of destroying the silver hourglasses. Shirley expresses her concern about Ju and Gildan as they have to secure the ritual place. Nemo is still busy dodging Rita's attacks and fights back. The two seem to be evenly matched and she tells him that he's quite good. He gives credit to his friends for helping become stronger. This makes her sad, and she tells him that fake successors like them don't have the luxury of friendship. He asks if she still believes Amos' words, and she tells him that she has no other choice before going in for another attack. She fiercely attacks him and he struggles to hold his ground as she reveals that she is not able to draw power from her hero. He manages to deflect her attack and tells her that it shouldn't be the reason why she should be this way. They continue to fight and she pins him down, but very soon he kicks her off, throwing her to the ground and regains control. He charges at her as her vision gets blurry and she wonders if this is going to be her end. As she loses conscious, she hears a voice saying that she will live. As the voice tells her to fight it, she sees her younger self being awakened by her hero, Irene. She wakes up with immense power, her whole body engulfed in golden flames. Nemo asks if she heard her hero's voice and tells her that if they listen to their hero's voice, then they will respond to their wishes. Just as he is saying this, Nemo's hero appears beside him. Rita kneels to the ground and tells him that she needs to find Amos's true intention of why they were created. He offers his hand and asks her to go with him. She hesitates before accepting his offer, calling him a kind person. Meanwhile, Volux, having escaped from the battle, rushes to Amos and tells him what happened. He pleads with him that he doesn't want to go crazy and die like Castris, but Amos cruelly asks why he's not dead yet. Volux is taken aback after hearing this and asks why they were sent to fight, to which he replies that he wanted to find the last one standing, who will then become the true son of destruction. He tells him that this is all according to the prophecy that he created, however, none of the 3 appeared to the true son of destruction. He then looks at the mirror, saying that this person is soon going to come to him. Volux looks at him terrified, and he continues that they can only be in the possession state for a short time before going crazy. He then summons giant glowing spikes from the ceiling and sends it to attack him. The spikes pierce Volux back and he falls to the ground, dead. Shirley and Faria soon arrive at the scene, challenging him. He tells that he just got the prophecy and Shirley notices that he had Volux killed. He threatens the girls that they too will have the same fate and will become the offerings to the son of destruction. In the past, we see young Ellen being told to get along with a girl, but she becomes sad and tells her that she's going to die soon because of an accident. The maid warns her for being rude and the girl starts crying. Previously, Ellen was lonely after she got connected with her hero Vanessa, who had the ability to see the future. Every day was a struggle for her as she had to watch people leave her. She even thought she knew when the world would end as she couldn't see a future after that. But one day she met the kind Faria who offered her umbrella in the rain to keep Ellen from getting wet. From then on, Ellen became friends with Faria, knowing very well that she played a major role at the moment of fate. They both were raised together and later became the 7 Knights along with the rest of the gang. At present, Ellen asks her hero what will happen if she uses her, but Vanessa tells her that she does not know. She expresses her concern and tells her that things are going to be pretty rough from now on. Meanwhile, inside the temple, Shirley and Faria face off against Amos, who approaches them saying that he is the hero of this new era. Faria tries to block him with her weapon, but he charges at her carrying his magic spikes and attacks her. She tries to block him once again, but is thrown backwards, and was about to fall to the ground. But lucky for her, Nemo arrives just on time and catches her in bridal style. He apologizes for making her wait, and Rita joins them as well. Outside, Ju is fighting a physicist, freezing it with his weapon before finishing it off by breaking it into pieces. Gildan praises him for doing a great job and turns back to the students, saying that they have secured the ritual site. They rejoice happily and proceed to examine the device that physicists used to steal the power of hourglass. Ju asks how they even managed to find this device, and Gildan tells him that it's because of the info Ellen got. He then put up the silver hourglass on top of the device while Ju asks if their work here is done. He tells him that it appears so, and that Ellen was the one who gave Therm all the necessary infos when needed, including the location of the ritual site. Ju takes a seat and asks him why they were not informed of the purpose of securing this place. He looks up the sky and tells him that he has a bad feeling, and there may be another reason why they were not told the full details. At the temple, Amos reveals that Nemo is the true son of destruction, and the girls look at Nemo in surprise. Amos continues, saying that the reason he sent fake successors after them is so that he can find the son of destruction. Rita gets angry at this and asks why he lied about her being one of the chosen ones, but he ignores her and expresses his surprise that Nemo didn't kill Rita. After hearing this, she decides to change her mind and accuses Amos of using them as pawns in his evil play. She sees Volix's dead body at the corner of the room and grows furious. She supercharges her body with help of her hero magic, ready for an attack. She charges at him, and he sends his powerful spike attacks at her. She breaks through his attack and comes close to him, chopping his hands off. When she tries to pierce through his body, nothing happens and he remains standing unhinged. He taunts her, saying that even after using her hero's power, she is weak compared to him. His arm starts to regenerate and he creates a powerful barrier as she's about to attack again, throwing her to the walls. Shirley remarks that his regenerating ability is very strong and that their attacks won't have much impact on him. Faria asks what he is planning to do with Nemo, and Amos reveals that he is going to use him as a sacrifice and obtain the power to destroy the world order. Nemo questions his dumb idea, but he tells that this is the way to rebuild an ideal country with only the truly strong people. Faria and Shirley accuse him for trying to conquer the world for selfish reasons, but he ignores them and turns to Nemo, saying that he has inherited the curse to destroy the world. Meanwhile, at the old library, Sophia tells about the curse of this place and shows him how it's affecting her body. He is shocked to see this, and she tells him that she's tried to resist the curse for so long and day by day it's getting difficult to endure. He asks why she didn't tell him sooner, but she reveals that the curse will only spread if the others come to know about it. He recalls what happened to Claire and asks Sophia what really happened at that time. She tells him that if he gets to know that, then he too will be possessed by the curse. He disagrees and tells her that he wants to know everything so that he can avenge Claire's death. She agrees with him and tells him about the betrayal of Genius, who was the librarian back then. At the temple, Nemo is tossed to the ground and transforms back to his human state. Purple hands come from below and engulfs him. Amos approaches him and lifts him into the air and sends shockwaves into his whole body. Nemo screams in pain, unable to do anything. Faria pleads to let him go, but Amos continues his torture, saying that he's going to bring out the Son of Destruction from Nemo's body and devour it. Shirley is trapped to the ground as well and watches the scene helplessly. As Amos continues to torture Nemo, he soon starts transforming. His muscles start getting bigger, however, they hear footsteps approaching and Ellen approaches them. Amos lets go of Nemo and tells her that her arrival won't change much. But she simply laughs, saying that she can see his defeat clearly. She goes to Faria and tells her not to worry as she's going to take care of this situation. Faria asks if the ritual is complete, and she replies that everything is in order. Faria looks at her in wonder as she had never seen her use her power before. She slowly goes to stand before Amos, who simply stares at her in shock. Her hero Vanessa appears beside her, and they prepare to fight. She turns back to Faria to apologize as she's going to stop the time for a while and starts the process. The magic begins and a seal appears in the air surrounding the place with a white magic field. The magic spreads outside and everyone is shocked by it. The seal grows bigger, resembling a running clock. Amos accuses Ellen of using the power stored in his ritual site for her magic. He then sends out his magic spikes at her, but she stops it midway in the air, calling his attacks useless and deflects him back. She then shouts time and another magic time seal appear behind him. His ring starts to crack and he stares at it in shock. She tells him that she knows his tricks and breaks his ring, along with his magic time seal. She removes the barrier and heals everyone. Nemo gets up with difficulty and so does the girls. They go to her and asks what happened. She tells them that she has taken away his regenerating ability. Nemo tells them that this means they would have an equal fighting chance against him. Just as they are speaking, Ellen collapses on the ground due to exhaustion. Shirley runs to her and asks her to be conscious. Faria and Nemo decide that now is the time to attack Amos. They rush together, transforming to their hero form and attacks him. Faria goes first and tries to block her attack, but Nemo attacks him simultaneously. He tries to deflect both their attacks, but they come at him from all directions. She manages to cut his arm, causing him to be angry and send out a massive attack at her that throws them backwards. He tells them that even without the power of silver glass, he is superior to them and send out attacks with just one hand. Faria tries to block them, saying that she won't waste the opportunity created by Ellen. Nemo transforms his hand to a cannon and prepares for an attack, while Amos continues sending more attacks. She blocks them once more and charges at him. He too runs at her and they both clash, releasing immense powers. They fight each other and appear to be evenly matched. Soon he overpowers her and Faria falls back. She calls Nemo for help, however, just at that Amos redirects the attack at Nemo, and he would have been dead if not for Rita sending a beam to block the attack. Faria tells him to end this fight immediately, and he agrees, sending out a powerful attack from his hand cannon. Amos tries to counter it, but of no use, and Nemo's attack only seems to grow bigger. He himself is surprised by the power of his attack, and Amos struggles to hold his ground. The power becomes too much for him to hold against, and he realizes with shock that he is not the chosen. Nemo's attack fully counters Amos' magic and blows him off. However, Nemo is having difficulty controlling it and the building starts to crack. The power was so immense that it reaches even outside, causing everyone to stare at in awe as it disappears to the sky. They finally did it, defeated Amos, and Nemo collapses on the ground tired, but Faria is there to catch him this time. He asks her if this means that their fight with Physis has ended too, and she replies that it has and asks him if he's okay. He tells her to not worry, and they observe the crystals that were created when he attacked Amos. Suddenly, the ceiling starts to tremble, and Ellen wakes up saying that the temple is going to collapse soon. She tells them all to leave this place, and Rita rushes to go out through an opening, saying she's going to leave now as she doesn't want to be held by the Seven Knights. But Nemo tells her that she saved his life. She dismisses it, saying that she only did it for herself, and warns him that he is the chosen as the son of destruction, and that he can't escape his fate. She then leaves, and Faria gathers the rest to get out. Outside, everyone is exhausted from the fight, helping each other out. Gildan and Ju soon see the girls return along with Nemo, and they get together celebrating. Faria declares that as the members of the Seven Knights, they have completed the mission, and everyone cheers for them. After some time, they leave the town in their airship thinking that everything is over. However, the truth is Amos is still alive because of the little piece of the crystal he held onto. He gets up and looks at his hand that has been cursed the same way as Claire's. Suddenly, a ghost-like creature resembling Successor appears behind him and thanks him for his work. He asks her why she lied about the prophecy that he will be victorious. She tells him that it was part of her plan to get him to mobilize the Physis. She thanks him for making Nemo the son of destruction and making Ellen use all her powers. As she is talking, his hand starts to be fully absorbed the curse, and it quickly starts spreading to his whole body before engulfing him fully and breaking him into pieces. Later, we see Nemo behind bars, sighing sadly, and Faria along with Ellen visits him. She tells him that they have no choice but to lock him as his hero genius had previously sold his soul to the Physis. Ellen tells him that the curse of the old library stops one's time and destroys their existence, which used to be once genius's power. Gareth joins them as well and accuses him of using Physis' power to destroy the academy. After that, the rest of the Seven Knights members hold a meeting to discuss Nemo. Gildan asks if it's necessary to keep him locked up as he has been fighting for them all this time. Gareth holds a piece of paper and tells them that it is the result of the research conducted by Successor and the board. He throws the documents on the table, saying that Nemo is similar to the three fake Successor. He tells that Nemo must have made contact with Genius before infiltrating this academy. Gildan asks how this is possible as the curse of old library existed way before Nemo came, and Gareth tells him that the curse was sealed before only because of Eunomia's powers. Shirley asks if Genius could release the curse, and he tells that it is possible. Ju agrees, saying that weird things have started happening since Nemo came to the academy, but Gildan tells them that they should not jump to conclusion quickly, and that Nemo himself might be a victim to Physis. Faria agrees that it is possible, and yet it is wise for them to keep Nemo locked up for the time being. She tells him that they can't release Nemo now as it will only cause panic among the students. She tells Gareth that Nemo's power was incredible and also abnormal. Gildan gets up from his chair and asks concernedly if they still consider Nemo as their friend. They agree, but still they know that if Nemo goes against the academy, they will have to defeat him. Gildan disagrees and leaves the meeting, saying that he will help Nemo in another way. Later, Gareth goes to visit Nemo and tells him that there is a magic seal which will prevent him from calling Genius. He reveals that this dormitory once used to be a prison for sealing dangerous successors like him, but Nemo tells him that he has no intention of fighting anyone. Gareth doesn't believe and activates the seal, revealing his monster arms. Nemo tells him that this is his sin and that he didn't Claire. He reveals that he is a fake successor produced by Physis, and Faria overhears them talking. He tells about the temple base where he was created inside a capsule with many others. Amos would supervise them and determine if these individuals were fit for his goals or not. Gareth concludes that after he was born, he must have impersonated some innocent boy to infiltrate this academy. But Nemo tells us not true and that he only disguised himself as human to be with Faria and the rest. When Gareth still doesn't believe him, he asks him to finish him off. Gareth takes out his sword but then changes his mind, saying that he will kill him when the verdict arrives. Meanwhile, Ellen and Shirley are together. They discuss Nemo, and Ellen tells her to be careful, otherwise her secret might also be out. Even still, Shirley can't help but be sorry for him, as he had saved her life. Ellen offers herself to Shirley, and she digs her vampire teeth into her neck. Later, Gildan meets with Ju and tells him that there is no way that Nemo is with the Physis, and that he would do anything to save him. Ju takes him outside to the terrace and tells that they have known each other for so long. He was amazed that Gildan, a prince, was one among the Seven Knights. They talk about their friendship so far, and then Gildan asks, isn't it enough that Nemo is a good person? But Ju disagrees and tells Hema that his father, Claire, and his classmates were all killed by him. Gildan agrees that if Nemo is real with Physis, then he too will forgive him. Ju tells him about Nemo's monster arm, but he simply tells that even he doesn't have human ear, but that doesn't make him a Physis. Ju admits that Nemo might be a good person, but still he was lying to them all this time. Meanwhile, Faria questions her hero, Eunomia, as to what happened at the old library, and she shows her hand that was cursed similarly to Claire's. Faria asks if this is because of Genius, but she tells her that if she gets close to the truth, then she too will suffer the same. She tells her that she needs to help Nemo, and that she is willing to do anything for it. Eunomia agrees to show her everything and asks her to follow. They go to an abandoned place, and inside, Eunomia unlocks a door using her magic. Faria then goes inside through the door and goes inside the library. She sees a book on the table glowing, and when she goes close, purple fumes come out of it, engulfing her. At the academy, Gildan meets up with an old guy from the committee to discuss Nemo, who tells him that he can't do much as the rules are strict in this matter. Gildan offers the guy a piece of cake and encourages him to make an exception with Nemo, in which case he will help with his debt. The guy finally agrees to try and Gildan continues to eat happily. When he goes out, he sees Shirley waiting outside listening in on their conversation. She then leaves saying that justice will be ensured no matter what and agrees to help him. At the school grounds, Ju is busy practicing his sword skills when Successor approaches him asking about Nemo. He tells her that he isn't sure if Nemo is with Physis, but that he is a good person. Suddenly, she holds him by his cheeks, staring into his face, surprising him. She tells him that he is kind and was about to go in for a kiss, but he stops her saying that his job is to protect her. Meanwhile, Nemo is in his cell looking at his hands thinking back to what really happened, and Furia is out there searching for his birthplace. She arrives at his town and goes to his home and discovers a photo of him with his family. She then goes to the Fallon Hall and imagines how things would have been if not for the Physis attack. She tries to sing but can't, so she goes to examine something on the rocks. She finds a crystal and recalls that in the photo Nemo was wearing it to his tie. Just then, Rita arrives at the scene and attacks her, but she manages to dodge the attack. Rita assumes that she is only here to capture her, but when Furia tries to explain, she doesn't listen and charges at her. She jumps in the air and transforms to her hero form. They both attack at the same time and their powers clash with one another. Rita chases after her, attacking and manages to dodge the attack and strike back. They continue fighting and attack each other with full force. Soon, Furia overpowers her and pushes her back and summons her ultimate thunder attack. The thunder strikes her, and she collapses on the ground unconscious. Furia demands her to surrender, but she refuses, saying that she knows how poorly 7 Night members treat people like her. She gets up with difficulty and says that she would rather die here with humility than surrender in disgrace. Furia is surprised that she still has so much strength in her. Rita, determined, gathers more hero power and creates a phoenix out of flames. Her hero appears before her and calls her pitiful, but still offers to help her, and she, determined to not die, this soon summons her ultimate weapon, and her hero Irene encourages her to fight like a true warrior. She creates a tornado of fire and charges at Furia, who tries to hold her back. At the academy, Nemo is taken to have a hearing at his trial, and Gareth questions him if he has anything to say. He apologizes and tells that he knows nothing. Gareth demands the court that since Nemo is not confessing any further, and that he should be executed so that the curse won't spread. Successor and Ju agree, having no other choice, and the head of the school was about to sentence him to death when Gildan and Shirley arrive at the scene, asking them to stop with the proceedings. They go before the head and Shirley shows him a government order and tells that it is too early for execution, as they lack evidence. Gildan urges them to not defy the Empire's rule and investigate this issue thoroughly. However, Sophia tells her that it's too late for them to argue and that Nemo's execution is final. She agrees to take full responsibility for this and orders the rest to surround them. Ju and Gareth seem to be somewhat possessed, and along with a few others traps them. Luckily, Furia arrives right on time and stops Gareth's attack. He asks her if she is supporting Nemo, and she tells him that she has found the truth and is now going to reveal it. She turns to Nemo and shows the crystal, asking if he recognized it. He looks at it surprised, and she tells him that it belonged to the real Nemo, who he killed in order to come to this academy. He admits it to be true, and that he took away his body and his memories. He kneels before her, asking her to end him as his punishment. But she disagrees and stands her ground that she will protect him like promised. She fights against Gareth and Ju to keep Nemo from being executed. Gildan and Shirley join as well, and Furia's airship arrive. Ju runs to attack to stop them from escaping, but Rita sends her shockwave attack on him. Furia holds out her hand, asking Nemo to come with her. He accepts and goes after into the airship and make their escape. Shirley and Gildan watch them leave, glad that they will be safe. At the airship, Rita reveals to Nemo that Successor is the one with Physis. Furia agrees, saying that Rita told her everything when she went to Nemo's birthplace. Rita tells them that there is a possibility that Successor manipulated Amos and exploited the fact that Nemo would join this academy and force him to use genius power. He can't believe that he was used by her to unknowingly break the seal of the old library and bring back the curse. Rita tells him that the ultimate attack he used against Amos was the trigger to release the seal of the curse. As they speak, a thunder strikes their airship and Nemo is about to fall, but Furia catches him quickly. They go to the balcony and witness a massive light of purple energy rise to the sky. Meanwhile, Gareth is with other students examining the large vortex of magic power that is spreading from the academy. They receive a red alert, alerting them to danger. One of the guys informs that within 60 hours, the protective magic field around the academy will collapse, and the world will come to an end. Shirley asks Gareth where he is going, but he leaves, saying that there is nothing else that he can do, and that he will find a way to end Nemo. Few of the students try to keep the seal from collapsing because of the vortex, while Gildan, Shirley, and Ju meet to discuss the situation. Shirley tells them that she wants to learn about the truth and believe in her friends. Ju, however, tells that genius power can potentially destroy the world, and then becomes angry, saying that they have to find Nemo and end him. Meanwhile, Gareth goes to visit Successor in the library, demanding for more power so that he can destroy Nemo. At the airship, Nemo sits beside the fire to keep himself warm, and Furia joins him, offering a cup of coffee. He asks her what they are going to do now and blames himself for causing so much trouble. He tells her that he wants to protect her, and she offers to do the same for him. She then shows her and calls it the price for knowing the truth and that she was prepared for this to happen. She tells him that at the start she wanted to protect him out of duty, but now she has other reasons to do so and that she likes being with him. He asks her about her duty and she tells him that from childhood she was raised to protect this world and bear all the responsibilities. She followed her duty sincerely and never thought of anything else, but that changed when she met him. He tells that he too feels the same way and holds her. They agree to be there for each other, and she holds out her hand, saying that they should leave to the academy and stop Sophia's evil plan. At the library, Sophia begins with her evil plans and turns Gareth into a monster, calling him a good boy for listening to mommy. Meanwhile, Ellen is with her hero Vanessa, and together they create a powerful seal. Ellen recalls the time when she met Faria and tries to be happy knowing what's to come. The magic vortex continues to grow, and Faria, Nemo, and Rita jump from the airship to reach the academy. They transform to their hero forms and rush to the academy's grounds. They come face to face with Shirley, Gildan, and Ju, who demands that they hand over Nemo. Ju is about to attack him, but Rita intervenes and throws one of her weapons to stop the attack. He decides to go after her first and charges at her, but she holds her ground and blocks his attack. She urges Nemo to get moving as they don't have much time, and he agrees, carrying Faria, and escapes. Shirley and Gildan try to go after him, but Rita blocks them with her attacks. She fights all three of them single-handedly and tells them that they are being manipulated. Shirley asks who she's referring to, and she reveals that it's Sophia, surprising everyone. Ju refuses to believe it to be true, but Shirley and Gildan agree to hear her out. Ju becomes angry and tells them that he swore to Sophia that he will protect the academy, and as he is speaking, he feels a tightness in his chest and collapses on the ground. His arms start to crystallize, spreading to his whole body, and he cries out Sophia's name in pain. He becomes possessed and goes after them. Gildan tells Shirley and Rita to help Nemo and prepares to fight Ju. They agree and leave the scene while Ju starts attacking him. Meanwhile, Nemo and Faria enter the library and see the book creating the magic vortex. Eunomia appears before them and tells that it is the Book of Time, the seal left behind by Genius. She tells that this is closest place to a ground called Glacier Garden and calls Genius out of Nemo to talk about what happened here. Genius comes out and tells them that the seal was loosened due to the power of destruction. Faria asks him if the thing under the ground is not his curse, and Eunomia tells her that it was all a lie to make sure that no one came close to this seal. She tells her that the seal was not perfect, and those who came to the truth died miserably like Claire. She then tells about what happened during their time. After the fight against Physis, she had pleaded with Genius to take her as well to protect the academy, but he had told her that she must live and sing for him. She agreed to do and starts singing with tears in her eyes as Genius left. He fought the remaining Physis with one hand as she continued. In the end, he had used his hand cannon attack to completely eliminate the Physis, and his oil became the seal containing the vortex of destruction. Faria at present asks Genius how Sophia knows about this, and Nemo tells them that there must have been someone else beside Genius and Eunomia when this happened. Just then, Sophia arrives and confirms that she too was there at that time. Faria asks her how this is possible, as it would have happened hundreds of years ago, but Sophia tells her that she was there at that time to purify the world using the vortex of destruction. She tells them that she was the one who found it, the method to destroy the world. Nemo tells her to shut up and that he would stop her evil plans. He charges at her, but she summons her weapon and throws him to the ground. She tells them that Genius had killed her that day. Part of her Physis power escaped her and entered into the body of a young girl, allowing her to continue living. Over the years, she took on the bodies of many people and continued living. Faria asks her why she tried to get Nemo killed, and she tells her that it's because he's the only one who can break the seal of Book of Time and the only one who can close it back. Faria and Nemo determine that she is too dangerous and decide to fight her. She charges at Sophia, who effortlessly blocks her attack, and then calls for Gareth, who, having been possessed, comes at Nemo and chops his hero hand. She traps Faria, while Ju continues to attack him. He collapses on the ground, bleeding. The Book of Time starts to break, releasing incredible amounts of power. Faria rushes to him, and Sophia thanks Gareth for doing a good job and then kills him, saying that he was useless and stupid. Faria holds Nemo and starts crying, asking him to wake up, and Sophia rejoices that now no can use Genius's power anymore and that the seal is completely broken. However, suddenly a seal appears below her, and she looks up to see that Ellen has arrived. Nemo dreams of meeting the true Nemo and asks how he is still there considering he killed him. He blames himself for everything, but the real Nemo tells him to not feel bad, and that he's going to wake up alive. Nemo starts to cry, saying that he's not even a human and doesn't deserve to be by Faria's side. The real Nemo tells him to listen to her voice and wake up soon. Meanwhile, Ellen uses the remaining of the silver hourglass power to heal him, and he gets up with a start and vows to protect Faria and the rest with the help of Genius. He transforms to his hero form. However, Ellen collapses on the ground due to exhaustion, and Faria run to help her. She tells Faria that Nemo's death will be the start of the world's destruction. That's why she reversed the time to just a bit before his near death at the temple and apologized to Faria for not telling the truth. Faria holds her in concern, but she smiles at her, saying that now she can see a much better future than before. Faria thanks her for her sacrifice and goes to stand beside Nemo, ready to stop Successor, who goes to the book and consumes it with her monster hands and starts laughing like a pisco. She starts transforming, becoming uglier and more monster-like. She tells them that they were stupid and prolonging their death for some time will make no difference as she had consumed the vortex inside and won't let them seal it this time. She punches the building and it starts to collapse. Outside, Gildan tries to wake Ju up and tells him about Successor's evil plans. Ju feels bad for being tricked by her. They hear a loud noise from nearby and look up to see the gag and ugly Successor destroying the academy. Her body starts to transform and she becomes even more disgusting. A tiny Successor come out of her and everyone starters at the terrified. Purple hands of the vortex emerge out of her belly and starts capturing people, including the head of the school. Fists emerge out of her body and sends them out flying to create more destruction. Meanwhile, Ju and Gildan are running to the scene to try and help. Gildan is worried about him and asks if he can run at this state, but Ju tells them that they have no other choice. The Physis attacks the students and devour them as they are running in chaos and confusion. Faria arrives at the scene and starts fighting the Physis and saving students. She instructs the students to follow the class officer's instructions and get ready for a battle. The giant sends out her attack everyone and Nemo tries to dodge them and runs across terraces. He hides behind a building and wonders what to do. Genius appears before him and tells him to calm down. He tells him that Successor has merged herself with the vortex of destruction, and that if he shoots her with his hand cannon at close proximity, then he can break the seal. Just then, Successor sends out more attack and he manages to dodge. Rita comes in between and blocks the attacks from hitting him. She asks him about what is happening and that if he can do anything to stop him. He tells about Genius's plan and she agrees to help him as much as she can. Juve and Gildan arrive at the scene, chopping a Physis. Nemo is glad that they are united and feels confident that they might finally defeat this monster. Meanwhile, Shirley is with Ellen and asks if she intends to die this way. Ellen admits it to be true and asks her not to tell this to Faria. Shirley knows that Ellen, having performed time magic, is now facing the consequences and asks her to not leave her. She then takes off her glove and bites her finger, taking her blood to Ellen and asking her to drink it so that she doesn't die and can live with her as a vampire. Ellen accepts her blood and tells that maybe things aren't so worse after all. Shirley agrees and tells her that Nemo used to say the same thing. Outside, Nemo and Faria gets close to the monster, but it creates a barrier made of darkness and destruction. She tells him that since he is the only one who can seal a vortex, he should go inside the barrier while she uses all her power to create an opening. He hesitates, but she tells that they have to do this, otherwise everyone will be consumed by darkness. She concentrates all her power and tries to create an opening even if the curse starts spreading to her body, but suddenly, out of nowhere, Gareth appears and tells her that she needn't do this and pierces through the barrier, creating an opening. His body starts to crystallize with the curse spreading, and he tells Nemo that this is his way of apologizing and avenging Claire's death. He then gives all in and cuts open the barrier, while his body continues to get affected and gets close to his death. Nemo thanks him and goes inside the barrier along with Faria. They climb on top of the monster's body and talk to Successor. Faria tells her to stop, otherwise the whole world will be doomed. She turns back and tells that she's merely trying to stop everyone from living so that no one gets hurt. She then tells them that how happy she was when he came to the academy and that how much she loved Genius. She continues to ramble, saying that if a person hurts another, then everyone should be punished for their sins, and that reveals her plan to make Nemo's hand cannon go out of control and be possessed. Genius and Eunomia appear and tells them that they can now right a wrong and stop Successor. The heroes and the Seven Knight are fighting hard to now save everyone and rely on others to fight against the Physis. Shirley, Rita, Ellen, Ju, Gildan all are fighting to stop this massacre and save everyone. Successor gets mad that everyone is rejecting her and starts attacking Faria and Nemo. They dodge her attacks and charge at her. He tries to hit her with his blade hands, but she covers herself. He jumps away from her as tentacles appear out of her, trying to grab him. He cuts them one by one and lands beside Faria. Successor covers herself and disappears inside the monster's body. Suddenly, large blocks appear out of the monster's flesh and attacks them. Nemo keeps running, dodging its attack, and then jumps in the air. He sees Successor's face appear and tells Faria to go after it. She strikes the face, breaking it into pieces, and Nemo lands beside her. But it regenerates to form more tentacles and Successor comes out from one of it. They start running, dodging her attacks, but she sends more tentacles their way. They chop off whatever they can while they are running and sends another massive attack at them, and Faria almost falls off from the monster's body, but Nemo catches her and jumps to the sky. With Faria in one arm, he uses his hand cannon and sends out a powerful attack. Faria lends her power as well, and together they launch one of the most powerful attack. Successor tries to counter it with her own attack and two powers clash, creating an incredible force and light. Everyone looks at the scene in awe, cheering for Nemo and Faria to be successful. They manage to overpower Successor's attacks and destroy her monstrous body. Nemo lands on the ground, his hero form gone, breathing heavily. Successor is still alive and taunts him about his powers. He tells her to shut up and looks over to Faria, who also lost her hero form and drops to the ground in exhaustion. Successor laughs at them and reveals the vortex still inside her. They stare at her in shock as she releases it back once again and tells them that their end is approaching. Nemo tells her that he still has some power left in him and will do anything to stop her. He starts transforming and seeing Furia. He apologizes for looking this way and that he is not a human. He tells her that he couldn't become a full monster either. He tells her that her friendship was the most valuable to him, helping him come to peace with himself. She runs to him and hugs lovingly. He thanks her and leaves to face Sophia. He runs at her and starts to attack. She does the same and they start battling each other out. Rita, observing the fight, becomes surprised that while Nemo being a monster was still able to merge with his hero and fight. He continues to fight Sophia, and she tells him that he should pay for his sins for killing the real Nemo and stealing his memories. He tells her that Nemo wanted him to continue living and thinks back to the time when Nemo helped him, even though he was a monster. They continue to fight and he manages to get hold of her. Genius appears before him and tells that this time he will eliminate her from this world. Sophia asks if he is going to use his power of seal again, which will mean that he will lose all his powers after that and become an ordinary human. He ignores her and tells Nemo to do as he please. A large light appears as they use the power of the seal and the atmosphere turns to normal. The Book of Time falls to the ground and Nemo is lying beside it. After a few days, everything returns to normal and Rita joins the academy as a new student. Ellen and Shirley are together, enjoying each other's company. Chu vows to become even stronger and finds himself a secret admirer. Later, Gather meets up with the rest of the 7 Knights member and apologizes. Things have returned to normal and everyone is having a good time, especially Feria and Nemo.